Welcome to Reddit Stories. Today's story is brought to you by Vargas. For the longest time, I believed that girls did not poop. At least, not in the traditional sense. For some reason, I thought their version of a bowel movement was to squat down and shoot out some light fluff like aerosol whipped cream, then pee on that substance to kind of melt it down before flushing. It wasn't until my first live-in girlfriend, call her Sarah, that myth was busted. After Sarah and I finished unpacking in our new place, we quickly settled into a comfortable, albeit boring domestic routine of Taco Tuesdays, Tex'em Hold'em with the neighbors on Thursday, and Friday night cockholding with someone who we chose from Craigslist. It was dull, but it was good. Deep inside me, however, an obsession took form. Hidden between my broken dreams of becoming a belly dancer and my suppressed memories of the series finale of True Blood, grew a burning obsession to find out what it was that Sarah was leaving in our toilet bowl every few days. I began an investigation, keen to discover any evidence of fecal matter she might leave behind. I began carefully inspecting both toilet and her undergarments for any trace of splatter, smudge, or skid mark. For 3 whole weeks, not a drop. At that point, I was convinced that solid female excrement, in the traditional sense of the term, was a myth, like Sasquatch or the New Jersey Devils. Eventually, though, my beliefs were turned on their head. It was a foggy Tuesday evening. I just returned from a fruitless 3-day business trip. In those days, I sold seashells at discounted prices, and was about to unburden myself of the incredible amount of buffet food I have been consuming. Before I had the chance to drop anchor though, Sarah timidly approached me with a request: fix the toilet. Tired and confused and slightly aroused, I set out to get the bottom of things. When I arrived at the bathroom and peered into our humble toilet, I finally had an answer to the question which had been keeping me up at night. A single log of considerable length and girth rested horizontally just below the rim of our toilet. It was as if there was a bridge, one which wingless bathroom sprites, they don't get their wings until they steal back a sock from the laundry trolls, used to cross from one side of the toilet to the other. It was a rich mocha, and it had a bit of a wet sheen to it, almost like a juicy sirloin. So the stories were true, I thought to myself, mouth agape, in disbelief and fear. A little context might be needed. The thing you need to know about my girlfriend was that she happened to be quite petite, 4'11" and no more than 95 pounds. So I was in a slack-jawed state of belief that something so gargantuan could come out of someone so little. In fact, it was so big, my first instinct was to name it, which I did, Shelia, after my mother. After looking at it for several minutes, really taking in its sheer size, I went about fishing it out. As I did, I could not help but note just how the odor resonated off the behemoth, as it weighed as much as a 1.5-liter bottle of rum. It dawned on me that this is how she hid this for so long. No smoke, no fire, and all. All I could do was shake my head and bury it in the backyard. Besides discovering the truth about female bowels, I discovered something else that night. You see, I had assumed that there was a direct correlation between the size of feces and the size of the individual. Kind of like how the size of a fish corresponds to its body of water in which it resides. After all, you don't hardly ever see a massive lake shark in small ponds, right? Well, after seeing what uncoiled from Sarah's insides that day, I couldn't have been more wrong. Large things come in small packages.